This is not a guarantee. This happened in one specific market cycle. But the mistakes are permanent and they repeat every cycle. This is based on real patterns, real decisions, and real consequences. Jan 2019. Two friends decide to start investing. Raj, 26 years old, marketing executive, rupees 50,000 salary. Priya, 26 years old, HR manager, rupees 55,000 salary. Both decide rupees 10,000 every month equity mutual funds. 6 years later, December 2024, Raj's investment account 9.4 lakhs. Priya's investment account 32.7 lakhs. Same starting point, same monthly commitment. Rupees 23.3 lakh difference. This is not a story about luck or insider information or market timing genius. This is a story about understanding. Understanding 4 simple concepts, 4 critical decisions. And by the end of this film, you will know exactly which one you are. Raj said, just opened my mutual fund account. This fund has NAV of rupees 12. So cheap, I can buy like 800 units. Priya said, I am looking at this other fund, NAV is rupees 390. Raj, why would you pay 32 times more? That's a rip-off. Raj's first mistake, the NAV trap. This decision alone can cost him 6.8 lakhs over 6 years. But what even are these things they are buying? Equity mutual funds. 3 words and a very simple concept. Imagine you want to invest in great companies, but you have some problems. Number 1. You have rupees 10,000. One share of a top company costs rupees 3,500. You can barely buy 2 to 3 companies. No diversification and high risk. Number 2. Which companies? You are not a financial analyst. You don't know how to read balance sheets, evaluate management, or assess competitive moats. Number 3. When to buy, when to sell. You have a job, a life, and no time to trace markets. The solution? Equity mutual funds. Here's the structure. Thousands of people pool their money together. You put rupees 10,000, someone puts rupees 50,000, another puts 5 lakhs. Total pool hundreds of crores. A professional fund manager, someone with degrees, experience, research teams, takes this money and buys stocks of 50 to 80 different companies across sectors. Technology, banking, pharmaceuticals, consumer goods, infrastructure, everything. All profits and losses are shared proportionally based on your investment. You get professional expertise managing your money, diversification across dozens of companies. Sell anytime and get money in a couple of days. More tax efficient than direct stock investment. Equity means stocks. Mutual means pooled. Fund means pot of money. But how does the fund track who owns what? Through units. When you invest rupees 10,000, the fund calculates today's NAV, net asset value, is equal to rupees 100 per unit. Your investment divided by NAV is the units you receive. That is, rupees 10,000 divided by rupees 100 is 100 units. These 100 units represent your ownership share. Tomorrow, if the fund owns go up, NAV becomes rupees 105. Your 100 units are now worth rupees 10,500. If stocks fall, NAV becomes rupees 95. Your 100 units are worth rupees 9,500. Simple, transparent and professional. But Raj is focused on the wrong number. Raj invests rupees 10,000 in Fund A with NAV rupees 12, launched in 2018, no track record. Units bought rupees 10,000 divided by rupees 12, 833 units. Raj feels smart. Look at all these units, he says. Priya invests rupees 10,000 in Fund B, NAV 390, launched in 2004, strong 15-year track record. Units bought rupees 10,000 divided by rupees 390, 26 units. Raj teases her. 26 units? I have 833. Fund A. Weak manager, mediocre stock picks. Grew 8%. NAV rupees 12 that became rupees 12.96. Raj's 833 units became 833 into 12.96, which is rupees 10,796. Fund B. Experienced manager, strong stock selection. Grew 12%. NAV was 390, which became 468. Priya's 26 units. 26 into 468 became rupees 12,168. More units didn't help Raj. Better growth helped Priya. Here's the biggest piece of misinformation. Higher NAV doesn't mean the fund is overvalued. It doesn't mean lower growth potential. NAV is not a price tag. It's not cheap or expensive. NAV is total value of stocks owned minus expenses divided by total units. A fund that started 15 years ago and performed well will have high NAV. A fund that started last year will have low NAV. Which will grow more from here? The NAV number tells you something. What matters? Funds 3, 5 and 10-year historical returns, preferably with low volatility. Has it consistently beaten its benchmark? Who is managing it? What's the investment philosophy? NAV is math, returns are a skill. This lesson will cost Raj rupees 6.8 lakhs over 6 years, all because he thought low NAV meant good value. Raj said, "Yeah, I'm going with IDCW option. I'll get some regular money out of this." Mistake number 2, the compounding killer. This single checkbox will cost Raj rupees 4.7 lakhs. Chapter 2, the compounding trap. Every equity mutual fund offers two options. Growth, profits stay inside. Compound, you get money when you decide to sell. IDCW, fund pays you periodically. Money comes to your bank. Sounds like a small choice. Well, it's not. Over 6 years, this choice created a 4.7 lakh gap between Raj and Priya. Here's what happens with IDCW. Your fund value rupees 1.2 lakhs. NAV rupees 60 per unit. You own around 2000 units. Fund declares IDCW payout of rupees 5 per unit. You receive in bank 2000 into 5, which is around 10,000. You feel good and you feel I made rupees 10,000. But look at your fund now. NAV drops from rupees 60 to rupees 55. Fund value 2000 into 55, which is 1.1 lakh. Before payout 1.2 lakhs in fund, after payout 1.1 lakh in fund and rupees 10,000 in bank, which is 1.2 lakhs. That 10,000 came from your fund, not from external magic. The fund moved money from your fund account to your bank account. You didn't earn anything new. You withdrew your own money. And here's the sting. That rupees 10,000 is taxed at income at your tax slab. 30% bracket, 3,000 tax. You actually keep only rupees 7,000. Meanwhile, that 10,000 is no longer inside the fund earning returns. Compounding broken. Now compare growth option. That rupees 10,000 stays in the fund and continues to potentially grow. Year 2 becomes 12,000. Year 4, 14,400. Year 6, 17,260. IDCW option, you got 10,000 in year 1, after tax 7,000. Multiply this over 6 years. Raj received rupees 95,000 in total payouts over 6 years. After 30% tax, he kept around 66,500. Spent on gadgets, trips, daily expenses, all gone. Current fund value 9.4 lakhs. Priya received 0 payouts. Everything stayed investing and everything compounded continuously. Current fund value 14.1 lakhs. 4.7 lakh difference from one option choice. This is historical illustration, not a promise. Markets may behave differently. When should you use IDCW? Primarily suited for investors who need regular cash flow, such as retirees managing living expenses. Building wealth, growth option always. 2 mistakes down. NAV confusion and IDCW choice. Combined damage 11.5 lakhs. But March 2020 was coming and with it a decision that would create the biggest gap. Raj staring at his phone, portfolio showing massive red. Raj's portfolio rupees 4.2 lakhs gone down to 2.6 lakhs, down by 1.6 lakhs. Raj panics calls Priya and says, I am stopping my SIP right away. We are losing everything. No point throwing good money after bad. Priya says, I am keeping mine running. Raj said, You're crazy. One kept buying, one stopped. This decision alone, 14.2 lakh difference. Let me show you why. March 2020, markets falling like a stone. Portfolio apps bleeding red, financial news screaming apocalypse. Unprepared investors panicked and stopped. Prepared investors kept buying. The difference in outcome? Staggering. SIP, Systematic Investment Plan. The mechanics. You set amount, say rupees 5,000 or rupees 10,000, whatever fits your budget. Fund which fund to invest in. Every month on that date, your money auto debits from your bank and buys units of that fund. It's automatic, disciplined and emotionless. Here's where it gets powerful. Your investment amount is fixed, but NAV keeps changing with market movements. Feb 2020, before crash, NAV rupees 100, your 10,000 buys is 100 units. March 2020, NAV is rupees 62. Your rupees 10,000 buys 161 units. April 2020, NAV rupees 68. Your rupees 10,000 buys 147 units. May 2020, NAV rupees 75. Your 10,000 buys 133 units. Total rupees 44,000 invested across 4 months. Total units 541. An average cost per unit rupees 74. This is rupee cost averaging. When prices fall, the same rupee amount automatically buys more units. When prices rise, it buys fewer units. You are systematically buying more when things are cheap, without trying and without timing. Now watch what happened when markets recovered. December 2021, markets fully recovered. NAV rupees 165. Raj stopped SIP in March 2020. 0 units bought during crash months. His rupees 40,000 sat in savings account earning 3% interest. By December 2021, 41,200. While Priya, she continued her SIP throughout the crash. Brought 541 units at average 74 rupees. By December 2021, 541 into 165, which is rupees 89,265. From the same rupees 40,000, Raj 41,200 while Priya 89,265. 48,065 rupees difference from just 4 months. Fast forward to today, December 2024. Those units Priya brought during the crash, they are now worth rupees 1,42,000. Total gap from SIP discipline decision, rupees 14.2 lakhs. These are historical outcomes, not guarantees, but the principle remains. Market crashed in 2008, 2011, 2016 and 2020 and recovered subsequently. The ones who kept investing during crashes built extraordinary wealth. The ones who stopped and waited, they bought back at higher prices or never came back. But Priya did something else, something even smarter. Step up SIP. Most people do this. Start SIP at rupees 10,000, keep it at 10,000 forever. Priya did this. Started SIP at rupees 10,000 in Jan 2019. Every year increased it by 10%. Year 1 rupees 10,000 per month. Year 2 rupees 11,000. Year 3 rupees 12,100. Year 4 rupees 13,310. Year 5 rupees 14,641. Year 6 rupees 16,105. Why? Because her salary increased every year. Bonus came in, increments happened. If you don't increase your SIP, inflation and lifestyle inflation eat into your savings. Step up SIP ensures your wealth building keeps pace with your income growth. The impact. Raj, flat rupees 10,000 SIP for 6 years. Total invested 7.2 lakhs. Priya, step up SIP starting rupees 10,000, 10% annual increase. Total invested 8.4 lakhs. She invested only 1.2 lakhs more, but because she kept increasing during good and bad times, her portfolio compounding accelerated. Step up SIP combined with cash buying, wealth multiplication. 3 decisions decoded. Pick fund based on track record, not NAV. Choose growth for compounding. Never stop SIP and step it up every year. But one more mistake was waiting for Raj, the portfolio structure mistake. He put all his money in one type of fund, small cap. When it crashed, everything crashed together. No cushion, no protection. But Priya, she built structure, balance and strategy. 2021, Raj sees headline, small cap fund up 95%. He moves his entire portfolio to small cap. Priya tells him, that's risky, I'm staying diversified. Raj, you're leaving money on the table. Raj's 6.8 lakh become 3.1 lakhs. What just happened? Let's decode the architecture. SEBI, the Securities Exchange Board of India, our market regulator, ranks all listed companies by market capitalization from biggest to smallest. Market cap is equal to total company value is equal to number of shares into share prices. Based on ranking, SEBI created strict category rules. Large cap funds. Large cap funds must invest at least 80% in top 100 companies. These are the established giants, decades of operations, market leaders in their sectors. Characteristics: low volatility than mid caps, high liquidity, massive daily trading volume, always buyers available, steady growth, predictable, relatively steady business model. Think elephants, large, stable, move steadily forward. These are suitable for 3 to 5 year investment timelines. Portfolio foundation, investors preferring stability. Mid cap funds. Mid-cap funds must invest at least 65% in companies ranked 101 to 250. These are growing companies, past the startup phase, competing to break into the top 100. Characteristics: relatively higher volatility than large caps, moderate liquidity, lower daily volumes than large caps, higher growth potential, smaller base can scale faster. Think cheetahs, quick, agile, can sprint or stumble. Suitable for 5 to 7 year minimum timeline. Investors seeking growth as a portfolio component, not entire portfolio. Small cap funds. They must invest at least 65% in companies ranked 251 onwards. These are small emerging companies, high growth potential but also higher risk. Characteristics: higher volatility as compared to large and mid cap, lower liquidity. During market panic, liquidity dries up, harder to sell. High growth or struggle potential. Some will become tomorrow's giants, others may face significant challenges. Think startups, high potential, higher uncertainty. Suitable for 7 to 10 year minimum timeline. Investors comfortable with significant volatility. Flexi cap fund. Rule: must invest 65% in equity, but manager decides allocation across large, mid, small freely. Manager has full flexibility. Example: today 60% large, 30% mid, 10% small. Next 40 large, 40 mid and 20% small. The manager adapts based on market opportunities. The advantage: one can avoid overvalued segments. Consideration: fund behavior may change year to year. Multi-cap funds. Rule: forced diversification. Must maintain minimum 25% in large cap, 25% in mid cap, 25% in small cap. Manager must maintain the balance always. The advantage: guaranteed exposure to all three segments. Consideration: can't avoid any segment even if overvalued. Which is better? Depends on preference. Flexi cap if you trust managers' allocation decisions. Multi cap if you want built-in diversification. Raj went 100% small cap in 2021. Liquidity can reduce during panic periods, requires long-term horizon and emotional discipline. 2022 correction hit. Small caps fell 55%. His portfolio 6.8 lakhs to 3.1 lakhs. He redeemed at a significant loss, missed the subsequent recovery that began in late 2023. Priya built a multi-asset portfolio, 40% Nifty 50 index fund, large cap, 30% mid cap fund and 30% small cap fund. During the 2020 correction, her large cap 14% held relatively steady, her mid cap 32% moderate impact, Her small cap 55%, significant fall, but only 30% of portfolio. Overall portfolio 30%. Uncomfortable, yes. Devastating, definitely no. Her 40% large cap foundation provided relative stability. She didn't panic, she held through. Raj, 100% small cap, 55%, no cushion, panicked and sold. By late 2024, markets recovered. Priya's portfolio at all-time high. Raj's portfolio still recovering from panic selling. Portfolio structure isn't about avoiding risk, it's about managing it. Diversification across sizes ensures no single market movement destroys your entire wealth. But size is just one dimension. There's another trap. Categories, 11 of them. And Raj kept chasing the wrong ones. Over 5 years, Raj's fund selections. 2021, technology sector funds, up 87% previous years. 22, banking sector funds, tech fell, banking looked strong. 23, pharma sector funds, banking disappointed. 24, infrastructure thematic funds, pharma went sideways. Always chasing last year's star, always one step behind. 5-year annual returns, 3.8%. Priya stayed diversified, 12% annual return. Why does this keep happening? SEBI defined 11 equity mutual fund categories, each with rules. Already covered large cap, mid cap, small cap, flexi cap, multi cap. Style based categories. Value funds. Buy undervalued stocks. Patient capital 5 to 7 year horizon. Contra funds. Contrarian approach. Buy what others sell. High conviction is needed. Focused funds. Maximum 30 stocks. Concentrated bets, manager skill is required. Dividend yield funds, 65% in high dividend paying stocks, typically mature companies. ELSS, equity linked savings scheme, 80% in equity, 3-year mandatory lock-in. Tax benefit, save up to Rs 46,800 under section 80C if in 30% tax bracket. Important, it's equity first, will fluctuate. Lock-in means you're committed for 3 years regardless of market conditions. Sectoral funds, 80% in one sector only. Examples, banking sector, technology, pharma, auto. Thematic funds, 80% in one theme across multiple sectors. Example, electric vehicles theme, infrastructure, rural consumption, etc. These concentrate risk in one area. When that sector or theme performs well, returns can be strong. Where it faces headwinds, losses can be significant. The core principle, 70 to 80% of portfolio diversified funds, large, flexi, multi-cap, index, 15 to 20% can add focused value or growth funds, 5 to 10% maximum sectoral or thematic, only with clear understanding and long horizon. Never concentrate entirely in one sector or theme. Now Priya's approach. Own all sectors through diversified funds. Her Nifty 50 index includes 30% financial services, 15% technology, 12% energy, 10% consumer goods, 33% across other sectors. December 2024, 6 years complete. Raj 9.4 lakhs and Priya 32.7 lakhs. Same salary, same starting month, 23.3 lakh difference. Now the blueprint, exact structure, the final knowledge. When you sell equity mutual fund units at a profit, you pay capital gains tax. Two types, short term, which is selling within 12 months at 20% tax on profits, no exemptions, and long term, sell after 12 plus months, 12.5% tax on profits. But first 1.25 lakh profit per financial year is completely tax-free. Example, profit of Rs 3 lakh held more than 12 months, first 1.25 lakhs, zero tax. Remaining 1.75 lakh, 12.5%, which is 21,875 rupees tax. If sold short term, Rs 3 lakh into 20%, 60,000 tax. Holding for 12 plus months saved Rs 38,125. Tax harvesting strategy, legally allowed under the current rules. Every March, book profits up to rupees 1.25 lakhs using the exemption limit. Reinvest if your investment thesis hasn't changed. Reset cost basis, pay zero tax. Do this annually. Tax rules may change, but currently this is permitted. Raj sold frequently within 12 months, paid 20% tax repeatedly. Priya held long term, used annual exemption, saved Rs 76,800 over 6 years. Taxes are mathematics, but wealth destruction, that's psychology. 3 patterns that destroy wealth. 1. Recency bias, giving too much weight to recent events. Last year's top performer becomes this year's chase, always buying after the rally. Number 2. Loss aversion, feeling losses more intensely than equivalent gains. This makes you sell at market bottoms and miss recoveries. Number 3. Panic checking. Checking portfolio daily during volatile times leads to emotional decisions. Review quarterly, not daily. Look at 3, 5, 10-year track record along with risk management. Evaluate based on current fundamentals, not your purchase price. Raj and Priya. 2 friends, same starting point. What separated them wasn't intelligence, luck, or insider knowledge. It was understanding. Understanding what equity mutual funds actually are. That NAV doesn't indicate value. That growth option enables compounding. That SIP discipline, especially during market downturn, builds wealth. That step-up SIP accelerates compounding. Portfolio structure across sizes manages risk. That diversification beats sector chasing. That fact sheets reveal fund quality. Tax planning and behavior matter as much as selection. Raj learned through loss, 23.3 lakhs in missed wealth. And you learned through this story. What happens next is your choice. If you apply this knowledge, you're Priya. If you ignore it, maybe you're Raj. Same information, different outcomes. This film wasn't about making you rich overnight. It was about making you informed forever. Markets will rise, markets will fall, sectors will boom and sectors will correct. But principles remain. Discipline compounds and knowledge protects. You now have both. A film about financial literacy. This film is based on principles of equity investing. Specific returns shown are historical illustrations from one market cycle and are not guaranteed. Asset allocation should be based on individual risk profiles and financial goals.
An investor education and awareness initiative by Bandhan Mutual Fund.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.